Video games are old. For example, Frogger, also known as Crunchyroll's great-great-grandfather, it's a classic arcade game from 1981. But how can you take that classic game and make it better? Well, what about realistic graphics and active ragdolls? Developed by Konami and distributed by Sega in 1981, Frogger is a game where we try to help a frog cross a road full of traffic and many other obstacles to help him get to the end of the level. The more goals you cross, the more difficult the game gets. And that's fun, I think. Why? I don't know, frogs are cute, but you know what's cuter? Watching them try to cross the road and not get crushed by a car. But really, why ragdoll physics? Well, I have made ragdoll physics before. For example, I implemented it while remaking God of War Ragnarok, so every time our enemy will die, the ragdoll physics will activate. But this is different. What I'm trying to achieve is an active ragdoll physics. In other words, instead of having it active only when the character dies, we want to have physics being calculated all the time. And it looks really fun. How does it work? Well, imagine that every single bone of the character has a box collider with physics. So the gravity and collisions affects it, but that also means that they are all over the place, because they collide with each other, and a way to counter that is by applying some fancy gravity forces to it. So it always tries to stay in a certain position in the world. And that position can be modified by the animation of our character, and that will be the most simplified explanation of how it works. Now, because YouTube asked me to not lose your attention, did you know a group of frogs is called an army? So now that I have a character that can stay up for more than 10 seconds, I made a simple character controller to move the character around with physics. And the way it works is very simple. Let's say you have a frog and you want to move it to the right, then you are going to add some forces to the x-axis, and if you're interested in how it works, you can go down in the description to the GitHub repository to see the whole code of the game. And I don't know about your country, but here in Mexico we have awful traffic problems. Sometimes cars don't care if you are crossing the road, they will just run over you. So I decided to implement that in the game.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture.
Okay.
They're the same picture.
Him getting crushed by a car is really fun to look at. You can truly feel the crushing of every single bone of the frog. You might say that the overall game is simple, but let me explain why. Adding ragdoll physics to the character adds up way more than just funny animations. The original game of Frogger was intended for the character to move one step at a time, but because we're relying on a whole new way of movement, we need to change the way the game adds more score points. Another example is that in the original game, the moment a car hits you, you lose one life and go back to the beginning. But in this case, I wanted to see the frog get run over more often. So instead, I created a crashing point. So every 3 crashes, you lose 1 life and return to the beginning. But that also made me realize something. I might be losing your attention, so did you know that most frogs have teeth? But having a single-player infinite game, it's not that fun. You know what's more fun? Beating your pals in a race to see who's the best gamer in any video game. That's why, after watching some videos from SamJam, I managed to add a global leaderboard to the game, allowing anyone that plays the game see who's the best Frogger gamer in the world. And of course, making that leaderboard always visible in the main menu and at the end of the try, so you feel bad about yourself in the case you didn't make it to the top 10. And just because I like games just like my women difficult, I decided to tweak the whole spawning and speed systems, so every time you cross all the goal spots, the game increases the difficulty, making the car spawning more often and being faster too, making the whole experience way more difficult as you progress. And that way, it's more difficult to be on the top 10. Now that I was making the whole level and I was adding more and more assets to the game, I noticed that the game was running like shit, and to be honest, I could just leave it like that and act like Todd Howard.
It's running great. It is a next-gen PC game. We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game, but it's got a lot of great stuff going on in it, and the fans are responding awesome.
But I do care about those gamers that have a potato as a computer. So to optimize this game, I noticed that we have a lot of issues. Most of the issues come from the fact that while making the 3D models, I didn't optimize them that much. So I needed to go for each and every one of them and make them less expensive. Oh! After optimizing every single model, now we do have a very well optimized game that can run in any potato, I think. And just at the end I did a ton of small details. So in other words, I added a pause menu, a main menu, made also some settings menus where we can change from the resolution to the graphics quality to the volume of the game, and also made some tweaking for the gameplay after play testing it, and there you have it, the game is done. And I decided to ask some friends to play test this game, to make sure that this game is in the best state possible.
Baby! ¡Monaco!
No sé qué pedo.
They hated it. And something funny is that I'm in the top of the leaderboard, so try to beat me.